Good morning, and we have more details about Year 5 Season 2, the PTS that is starting tomorrow, and more details about the incursion and the incursion's exclusive exotic. So sit back, relax, grab that popcorn. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know what you think in the comment section below. But we're going to jump straight into this because we did get some answers from the developers. Now, let's do a quick recap on what we're going to talk about and what the developers actually answered. Now, yesterday we talked about the patch notes for tomorrow's PTS for Year 5 Season 2. All right. It is already available for preload, so you can preload it now. And it starts tomorrow, Friday, and it ends on Monday, the 11th. All right. That's just a quick little overview there. Now, what was actually answered from the developers? The first thing that I really want to talk about is the new exotics, right? So these new exotics, we have a new exotic LMG and a new exotic SMG. Both of these are very, very heavy in status effects. All right. Now, the LMG exotic, it says right here, it will ignite enemies. So you will have burn bullets with your iron lung exotic LMG. As far as the exotic SMG, this one, the status effect applied to them, okay, will then apply the same status effect to their next magazine, 50% of it. So if a status effect is applied to you, you get those status affected bullets added to your weapon, right? Sounds amazingly fun until you think about it in the PvP aspect, right? And that is also going to be addressed in this video as well. Now, the first thing I wanted to talk about is this blurb right here, because a lot of people were asking. It says, please note that this exotic is exclusive to a new incursion and not a part of the seasonal reward track. So this is called the Ouroboros. I was told yesterday in the comments that this is a Resident Evil reference. If you can elaborate on that in the comments and let everyone know in the community about the reference that is behind that name. But the point that I'm making here is that it is exclusive to the new incursion. Now, remember, we are not getting incursions. We are getting the one incursion, right? One, singular. Now, this singular incursion is a 4-person raid, and that is how they are treating it. They are treating this as a 4-person raid that will have different boss encounters, and this exotic SMG is going to be their version of the Eagle Bearer or the Ravenous, right? Where this exotic is going to be exclusive only to the incursion. Now, when this was asked a little bit further, Morton Ryberg said this. All right, so it says, on your first weekly clear, you will have a much higher drop chance. But as with the raids, there is a tiny chance with each completed boss encounter. All right, so that right there tells you that we are doing a 4-person raid. There will be multiple boss encounters, and you will be able to get this exotic not only from the end of that incursion, but from any of the incursion boss encounters. So that's pretty cool, right? Now, the next thing we wanted to talk about, oh yeah, the status effects. And then this is going to refer back to the Trello board. Now, Morton Ryberg said this. We know that the status effects are powerful in PvP, and we will address this. It is listed in the known issues board. All right. He said this September 6th. That was, what, yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. Now, if we go to the actual Trello board, what is he referencing? Well, he's referencing this right here. This was added a month ago. And this is status effects from various weapons will require a revision. So this seems to be a pre-hesitated This it seems like they posted this knowing that the next set of exotics is going to mess up PvP. And that's the only way, because a lot of people were saying this was for the St. Elmo's engine and they were just going to nerf the St. Elmo's engine, and that's not the case. This is because that now we're going to have the St. Elmo's engine, we're going to have the Iron Lung, we're going to have the Ouroboros, and we're going to have a whole lot of status effects added to PvP because of this next update. Now, that's a big deal, okay? Now, not only that, but what's crazy is that right now in PvP, they have this right here as a known issue. It says changing to a Cavalier gear set loadout while in a party with another player with the Cavalier gear set after responding will render the player immune to all status effects. Okay? So, right now in the game, there is a broken gear set that will make you immune to all status effects. But wait, there's more because it's planned to be fixed. Title Update 19. Title Update 19 is the next season. So, this was the way for PvP players to combat the status effects, you know, using that Cavalier or whatever. And as soon as they are putting this one back to normal, they're adding all of the other status effects. Because remember, looking at this new exotic SMG, and I will test this tomorrow, that way I can show you firsthand. But from the sounds of this, I'm going to break this one down just a little bit more. I kind of gave you some insight yesterday. But it says that 50% of the magazine is going to apply the same status effect that was applied to them. All right. So think of it this way, right? You can't be fully hazard and use this build for PvP because if they can't apply a status effect to you, you will not be able to get that in your magazine, right? So tomorrow we're going to be testing this. It's going to be pretty easy. But what we're going to do is we're going to run hazard but not max. That way we still have that effect applied to us and then automatically get it into our weapon and see how that works. Because let's just go down the list of status effects that this weapon will be able to do. Okay, so if I were to jam you with a jammer pulse, you would then have disrupt bullets, right? So if I shot you with a St. Elmo's engine, you would then have shock bullets. If I burned you with the iron lung or a burn sticky or whatever, you would then have burn bullets. If I were to use a banshee pulse and confuse you, you would then have confuse bullets. If I were to riot foam you and you get out of it somehow, you will then have riot foam bullets. This is a very, very tricky weapon that is going to be all over the PvP. I don't know how else to tell you that. Just imagine a group of 4 jump you. One has riot foam bullets, one has shock bullets, one has like they're gonna it's an automatic death. You see what I mean? Unless you run full hazard. But if you run full hazard, you're not going to be able to utilize this weapon. So it's going to be a tricky thing in PvP. It is. And we'll test it out. Now, getting away from that, but kind of staying on the Dark Zone, conversation. We have a new quality of life change that was also answered yesterday. Now, this quality of life change right here, it says exotic caches are now available for purchase at the Dark Zone. And this is going to be for any Dark Zone vendor. So you remember every week I do the Dark Zone vendors, west, south, and east. And the only difference is now they're going to be adding a spot in there for you to purchase an exotic cache with DZ resources. Now, the problem I have with this is that they should have the DZ exclusive items in that exotic cache. And here's my reason for that, okay? The only way to get this cache is you're going to have to farm DZ resources. DZ resources is not easy to come by. There are little blue boxes all around the dark zone, and you would have to deconstruct contaminated gear and extract it. So you would actually have to farm for DZ resources. So that alone means you have to play in the dark zone, right? So if you have to play in the dark zone and you have to farm for DZ resources, why would the exotic cache that you just farmed for in PvP not have the PvP exclusive items? That makes no sense. That does not make any logical sense at all. That's dumb, in my opinion. It's not smart, is what I'm getting at. Because if you're forcing people to go into the dark zone and you're making them farm for DZ resources to even get a chance to get this cache, you then have to remember that they're not just going to get an eagle bearer right there off the rip. It's a very small chance. The chance of getting one of these exclusives in the dark zone is 24 in 1,000, where if you do a raid, it's 1 in 10. That is a huge difference. So adding that to the exotic cache is the least they could do. Because there are people that cannot find friends to raid with. There are people that don't have time to do raids. There are people that don't want to do raids. There are people that just want to play in the dark zone and still are not able to get these exotics. And this was a good chance for them to farm and try to get it through the cache. So I asked the developers, right? Here's what I said. I said, will the Eagle Bearer, Ravenous, and Bighorn be included in these exotic caches from the vendor? I would assume the answer is yes, but I have to ask. And that's because I had doubt. I was like, I bet they're not going to. And boom, they will not be included. These are the exact same caches as Countdown, which is not smart because Countdown vendors sell DZ exclusive named items. Countdown vendors sell named item caches that also have PvP exclusive items. So why would you copy and paste the same exotic cache from PvE and put it in PvP when the PvP cache is farmed in PvP? So why would it not have the PvP exclusives? That makes no sense. Anyways, I'm, you know, I don't like that answer. But those were the new details that were given to us from the developers. A quick summary: that new exotic will be tied to the incursion. We will not be able to play the incursion in the PTS. However, we will be able to test those exotics out in the PTS. I will do that tomorrow live. And yeah, it should be fun. Should be a good time. Now, let me know what you think about these details and more. Are you glad that the incursion is going to launch worldwide at the beginning of season 2? Are you excited to try to farm for that new exotic? What do you think about all of these new status effects and more? And remember, all of this news is on my Twitter at Kamikazevondoom. So if you want this before I make a video, follow me over there. And like always here on YouTube, to support me, just hit that thumbs up, subscribe for more content, and join as a member. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everyone. Have a nice day. Peace out.